distributed renewable energy sources sa mga net metering natin bala. On the revenue side, we can say na this would have an disadvantageous sa amon. However, electrical producers are non-profit, we're not after for profit. And also the fact, we really support sang net metering. Why? This is actually revenue neutral kung ang tawon. This will not mean reduction sa aming revenue.
Competition on your side, no?
No, board. That's not how it is. One, it is revenue neutral because ang excess na power nga habuin nila sa amon is based na yapon sa ang energy credit sa ila or even sa ilang bill is still based sa average nga rate na to. So it's revenue neutral. At the same time, this would reduce our exposure to wholesale electricity spot market. Ang energy supposedly to be procured sa WISM, ginagawa na ginibana na nila. At the same time, the fact na revenue neutral siya, so wala siyang adverse effects atong rate. This is how net metering works.
So, we will hear something from the more. By the way, sir, no? May aral na ka mo ginasupply diri sa province ng Iloilo or diri pala sa city ka mo ya?
Sa city pa lang kami, chair.
So tapos sa provincial government?
Yes, the provincial government.
Yes.
So,
yes.
I have a presentation.
Yes.
Can I present?
Yes, you proceed.
Good morning, honorable members of the committee. No, everyone. Good morning. First of all, before presenting, I would like to manifest that I support the concerns and issues raised by my fellow DUs here. No, we are in the same boat here. No, and I fully support the move to make a manifestation or a case filed against NGCP. No, but there are other concerns other than that. No, so may I proceed with the presentation, Mr. Chair? So this is a presentation for the line rental issue, no, and the electricity rates in Panay. No. First, next slide, please. So this is a typical bill, no, of more power, and our breakdown of the rates, we are 50 to 60% composed of generation charge. No. So it's a big chunk of the payment that you make for your electricity fees. Next slide. So how more power ensure low electricity rates? Next slide, please. We do long-term power supply planning. That's the CSP, no? And our current generation rates were of the long terms. No, we have 10 years, we have 5 years, and we have 3 years. No, and on a short-term basis, we do have daily monitoring of rates through our MUSM trading. No. So rather than just buying from our bilateral contracts, we also buy from the market by our daily nominations. Next slide, please. So this is a typical nomination, or meaning how we purchase power optimally from our power supply suppliers. The yellow portion represents the purchases coming from the WESM, and those, the black, the blue, and the green comes from our bilateral agreements. No? Next slide, please. What I'm showing you is how we optimally reduce prices, no? And this happens during the yellow line represents the price of WESM in the market, and the horizontal axis represents the 24-hour period. No? So during 2 a.m., you know, until around 12 noon, WESM prices are low precisely because of the supply of the solar plants in Negros, no? And it peaks during afternoon until the night, no? And luckily for us, the load profile, meaning how we purchase our rates, is peak during the 10 to 4 p.m., which coincides with majority coming from the low price of WESM, no? So it's not all the time bad if WESM prices are high, as long as you purchase it on your low period of demand. You know. Next slide, please. So this is the historical supply and rate trend of more from the start of operations until August of 2024. You will see in the middle that our rates were significantly lower, I guess starting from July 2021 to around August of 2022, because we got almost all our supply from Pisang, which is a geothermal plant having a very low rate, no? That's why our rates then were just around 6 to 7 pesos per kilowatt hour. And right now, because we are around 20-30% exposed to the WESM, and with WESM going up, our rates are also going up. Next slide, please. So in terms of rates, this is the historical rates pattern of MORE, no? At the bottom represents your distribution, supply, and metering, which is unchanged from June of 2022 up to the present. And the only rates that are normally going up or down is that of the generation charge, which dictates the total price that we charge our customers. Next slide, please. And this is the comparison of the different rates of selected distribution utilities in the country with those in Manila and in Mindanao. No? The bold green line is the rate of MORE compared to the other utilities. No? And what is emphasized there is the drop for the month of June, which is due to the ERC order staggering the payment into 4 installments. No? So that installment will be finished this coming September of 2024. And it affects not just MORE, but all the DUs as previously explained by the GMs here. Next slide, please. And what would have been our rate if there was no ERC order? No? Our rates would have been consistently in the same rate, no, of around 10 to 11 pesos, had it not for the ERC order. No? So it significantly reduced the rate artificially, but it's also increased the rate artificially for the next 3 months, no? For July, August, and September. Next slide, please. So this is a breakdown of our rate for the last 4 months, no? From May to August, with June showing the lowest rate because of the ERC order. And this graph will show you, this table will show you that rates should have been relatively stable had it not been for the power purchase from the WESM. So WESM is the culprit for the increase in rates or the volatility in rates, and more specifically, the increase in rates. No? So next slide. So in that table, previous slide please. Next slide. Next slide. So WESM caused the rise in electricity rates, affecting the generation charge. The yellow line represents WESM. The other lines represents our power suppliers. No? So in Moore's case, we have power from 2 coal plants, 1 geothermal, that's EDC, and a big chunk of our purchases from the WESM, represented by the yellow line, a yellow graph. No? So with more purchases from the WESM, and with WESM increasing lately for the last 4 months, prices of our electricity rates will consequently go up. And what causes the price to go up? Those are the line rental, as previously stated, and basically the high prices of WESM, not only line rental, because of the inadequacy of supply in the market for the whole country during the last summer season. Next slide, please. So how WESM prices are determined? So WESM prices are determined based on this formula. No? So we have the system marginal price, which is the same all over the country. No? By the way, locational marginal price is the same as the nodal price. No? system marginal price is equal all over the country. That is the law of supply and demand, meaning it's based on the merit order system of the power plants. No? All the power plants on the gross pull method are required to put in their prices. No? It only varies among nodal pricing, and it's also the cost of the line rental because of two significant items. That's the cost of loss and the cost of congestion. No? So I'll explain each. No? Next slide. What is the cost of loss? No? I'm prepared. I presented here a analogy. No? Meaning the cost of loss is assuming you are buying from Baguio. No? In this instance. By the way, this is a presentation we got from IMOP. No? If the cost is 3,005 in Baguio, and you are needing that in Manila, no? The cost of loss is the 20 pesos that you will use to pay for the cost of delivery. No? So, applying that to our power supply, no? One of our power suppliers in Manila is Semcalaca. It passes through all the transmission line, no? From Luzon to Panay, and along that line there are losses that happens, no? And as explained by Attorney Balsomo, it represents the heating of the line, no? There are losses because of that heating of the transmission line. And who will replace that losses, no? If my contract is fixed at, let's say, 20 megawatts, when it's delivered to me, it's just around 19 or 18 megawatts, the market will supply the difference, meaning the 1 or 2 megawatts will come from a plant located in Panay. That's why the price goes up, because a plant in Panay is covering for the losses that happens along that line. No? So that's one of the reason why there's an increase coming from your supplier going to you. No? So the amount that you pay for your supplier will not cover for the whole amount that you wanted, but it's supplied by a plant located in Panay. Next slide, please. What is the cost of congestion? The cost of congestion is the cost that you will pay for a marginal supplier in the subgrid. No? In this illustration, by analogy, the product that you bought from Baguio cannot pass through the NLEX, no? Because it's congested. So rather than getting your supply from Baguio, a supplier nearer Manila is giving you that, no? And in this instance, if your product coming from Baguio is 3.5, because it cannot pass through the line, no, because it's congested, it will now be replaced by another supplier at 4,500, no? And that difference of 1,000 represents the cost of congestion. Meaning it's a kind of a replacement power that in our case, no? Next slide, please. In our case, this is represented by that red line. The red line is the transmission line where our power supplier is located in Luzon, which is only selling at 5 pesos. It's nodal price. But the buying price at our end becomes 8 pesos due to congestion and due to losses. The difference of 3 pesos is the line rental. Meaning, because it cannot pass through the Barotac-Dingle congested line, another supplier provided us with that power. And that power came from a higher priced plant located in Panay, most probably coming from the diesel plants. So the WESM line rental or the congestion is paid to a generator that supplied power to you rather than your contracted generator. So your contracted generator did not really supply you with power. What supplied you with power, because it cannot pass through the line as it's congested, is a supplier located in Panay, and most probably a higher priced source of power. And in this instance, it most probably be a diesel plant like the PDPP and the power barge. No? So that's in simple terms the reason why prices are high due to congestion. Next slide, please. that congestion normal is, in this instance, happens in the Barotac to Dingle line. Why Eleco 3 is not affected by the line rental and the congestion? Because it is supplied outside of the Barotac Viejo to the Dingle line. There was no congestion of the power of the transmission line going to Eleco 3, no? So all the electric companies, BUs connected to the Dingle line up to Santa Barbara are affected by the line rental because there was a congestion. So Eleco 2, Eleco 1, more, and all the other DUs connected to the Barot to the Dingle line because the Barotac Dingle line happens to be the only line that is congested due to the N-1.
Mr. Chair, excuse me. But that line, again, to be clear, yung unang N1 nila, gin 50% lang nila.
Yes.
So, that still remains to be answered. You're explaining to us, thank you, Mr. Parcon, nga muna. Pero, again, let us be clear na that N1 contingency plan na gin-impose ang NGCP, amo nang linya ginambal mo Barotac Viejo to Dingle.
To Dingle.
So, ginhimo lang nila nga 50% lang. Oo. So, sa gihapon, dira ta nakita, diin nang another 50%. So thank you for mayo na nga gin-explain naman sa amon, pero again kung lantawan mo dira ang problema. Dira ang problema kay hindi nila ma-explicar ano ining N1 nga ini, ano ini nga agin 50% lang nila. Mr. Chair. So para bala clear sa aton nga all of us will appreciate this nga sila self-imposed gin-impose sang NGCP ang N1 nga nga gin 50% lang niya ang carrying capacity sang sinibangod kay di ang tanan nga DUs other than that of Eleco 3 are connected or nakaangot sa inang linya. Thank you.
So by that explanation, Mr. Chair, makita na